Good morning, my friends. Hope you guys are doing great wherever you are at. Here it's a beautiful morning. The sun is shining and crisp, cold air. And as usual, I'm wearing my jacket. Although my wife is not here, I have kind of got accustomed to it. I did raise the heat level, and from 60, I put it to like 67. But I guess I'm just cold, so I'm still wearing my jacket. Anyway, today I want to share my thoughts on the subject judge and being judgmental and so forth. We all have heard the cliche, don't judge the book by its cover. And it's a very famous cliche, and a lot of times we use that cliche usually by people who feel they're being judged or personally, or they're being told like, hey, don't judge book by its cover and so forth, in reference to because their mind or their thought process wants to judge somebody harshly, because we have this notion in our head, in our mind, is we always evaluate people on the outward appearance and never look inside and see who they are really. I have seen in my personal life, and I have been at times a very hard judge of people, and at times have written them off. And until I was a lot more mature, I began to understand the true principle. And even the scripture says, do not judge, for you will be judged. With the measure you judge, you will be judged. And so a lot of Christians, a lot of people nonchalant just judge people without any thought of it. Like, why am I judging this person? Why am I making a call against this person without having full facts? And even having with full facts, us as human giving the right for the person to explain themselves or have like, hey, what was the reason? We tend to write off people because our mind tells us they're no good, they look this way, they're, they have a certain attitude, and we make a claim towards their life, towards how they are. Hey, this person is no good. Now, again, what we hear from somebody else, and that's where the gossip thing comes, as we heard this. Oh, I just want to forewarn you, this person is this way, and you want to be careful. Now, there's some truth to that, and it's makes a good sense, and it's for our protection. And so I am all for it. But they must have been that way. Say, for instance, somebody who is got a problem with stealing, right? And they have had a history in the past of stealing things, and but over the period of time, they understood and they have stopped stealing. We cannot just now say, okay, this person is gonna steal. You see, we have to give them a benefit of the doubt, which is in my previous video, I said to have a good attitude. We gotta give them a benefit of the doubt. But if we judge them for their history, and if we judge them for how they look or what they did, then we are all guilty of it. We cannot tell somebody that you are a bad person because you did this, because we do something that's bad, but it's because somebody doesn't know about it. Say, for instance, the judge in the court is judging somebody with a crime or infraction, whatever has happened, and makes a judgment call on the evidence and the facts that's being presented by both parties, plaintiff and defendant, and all of a sudden, the judge has to make a judgment call, or the jury. But we all don't look at, we look at the evidence and we look at the facts and say, okay, this is what, because this guy has got a rap sheet, he has definitely done this thing because his history shows. And the next thing you know, we throw the person in the jail and then whatever it is. But who knows that at some point in life, the judge who was sitting there was probably doing the same thing. Only thing, never got caught, never got caught. So he's making that judgment call. Oh, I'm going to send you to prison. Now, as a judge, you would think like, hey, I really don't want to send him, but the things are in front of me. This is my profession. I got to make this judgment call. So his hands or her hands are tied and they make that judgment call. But if we reflect on the whole picture of it, is we need to definitely say to ourselves, let's not judge somebody by the outside of it, by the appearance of it, or what somebody is saying. Let's examine them for ourselves. When we give them that benefit of the doubt, we tend to learn they are not actually what this person has told me about, or what I thought my mind was telling me that this person is. Now, it could be because of their race, because of the color, because of where they come from, or how they speak, or how they dress. We make all these judgment calls and start judging people and say, I'm not going to associate with them because they look like this. They're not educated. They're this. We are people. We are made in the image of God. We are all one. In my previous videos that I've shared, we are all one. We have had opportunities and in life that has made us good, great, and even better than somebody else. But isn't that our job to help people grow, lift them up, rather than writing them off, condemning them, and saying, you are not worth it. You don't deserve my love, my kindness, my generosity, because you are this. We never pick up a book in the library because of what the title says, right? Because we're like, the title doesn't grab me. Or the picture on the title doesn't grab me. And we actually fail to gain knowledge and something wonderful out of that book because the title didn't grab us. Like my YouTube channel that I'm doing now, somebody told me, like, Vesh, have you did taglines and say, because algorithm picks up on those and people will click because you made a certain, the words that you've mentioned has caused people to click on it because the algorithm brought your videos up. Like-minded with those thoughts, click on that because the verbiage that you express or the words you use has popped up on their screen and now they can click. The advertiser usually puts a picture of a beautiful girl or something. It has actually got nothing to do with a car. But because beauty attracts somebody, they click on it. And it's about something else, about vitamins, about whatever. The advertiser always uses some kind of mind game we click on. And as human beings, we are so obsessed with the appearance, the way it looks, rather than who is this person, the characteristic, and how they display their lives. How do they treat their wife? How do they treat their husband? Or, their friends, their, family members. Those are very essential part. But we never give opportunity. In religion, or especially, I don't want to be specific on any religion, but, Christianity. And the religion, why I'm saying that is because I'm a Christian, but I don't go as I'm a religious person. I'm a person who has a relationship with Christ. And because he's the only one who can judge me, I am following him. So, me judging somebody, now, some people might use, like, hey, since we have Jesus in us, we are little gods, we can judge people. No, that is not the point of this. People use verbiage and things just to make a point for themselves and to be mean, to be hurtful. But this channel is about growing together as a community and lifting one another. And that's why, for me, I feel I am not the person who can judge somebody because of who they are, what they are, or so forth. I can only give them opportunity to speak for themselves. And I would say is that I'm always not that way. I'll be honest. But I am trying my best to not be that person, of a person who will judge somebody just because how they talk, how they look, or where they come from. I have matured enough to not do that anymore, because now my wife says that you have such a personality that you can talk to anybody. We travel around the world, and I can just speak with a stranger, and it doesn't matter who they are. Why? Because I see me in them. I see God in them, because God created them. So I am able to interact with them. Now, scriptures also say, be smart as a serpent and harmless as a dove. If we are smart enough and pick up things that look like, hey, I'm putting myself in danger, and this person has not been elevated to the light that should shine in that person, I need to be careful. So I need to make that judgment call on those matters, and that is being prudent. That is not being a judge. But I have friends and I have family members who literally write off people because they don't think like them. And they say, you're going to go to hell, you're no good, and so forth. Or I don't want to associate with you because you don't fall into my income bracket. And when we display this kind of attitude, what does it talk about us? What does it say about us? When Bible clearly says, scripture says, do not judge, for you will be judged. Do not confront and do not expose somebody's sin in such a way that you're condemning them. Now, what I mean by that, a story I want to give is in the Bible, if you read, a woman who had a reputation, so she was promiscuous and she had some faults in her, that in that culture, when they found a woman being of that kind of nature, they would bring her into the Sanhedrin, or in front of the judge, so to speak. And supposedly Jesus was the rabbi, considered a rabbi, a teacher, and they brought her. And the whole point of theirs was to have Jesus see how he would expose this person. Anyway, this lady who came, she had absolutely nothing to go with. She had a bad reputation. She was promiscuous. She was doing all these things that was culturally wrong and morally wrong. Morally wrong in today's world as well, supposedly. She was brought in front of all the men. And in those days, the justice was stoning people to death. There was no jury. There was no 6 months probation and this and that. That was literally death. And they brought her in front of Jesus, and Jesus was not saying anything. Jesus knew who she was, in the sense of he understood her dilemma. And they said, she is this type of woman, blah, 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 blah. And all the sins of hers were being exposed. And says, what are you going to do about this, Rabbi? And Jesus, Yeshua, some people choose to express Jesus as name as Yeshua. What are you going to do? And Jesus, he did not even look at them. He didn't look at the woman. He was writing something on the ground. But his question to all those men who were there said, he who is without sin, cast the first stone. Cast the first stone. And none of them could answer. None of them could answer. And they started slowly disappearing. They threw their stones down and they walked away because they knew they were claiming her to be such a horrible person, but they never thought about themselves, how horrible they were. But when they realized that we have a lot of sin against us stacked up, if we were in her position, we would be stoned to death as well. And they walked away. Then Jesus asked this woman, do you think I condemn you? Do you think I judge you? Different translations have a different interpretation of that word. No, you don't judge me. You don't condemn me. So he says, those people tried to do that to you, but I don't judge you. So you don't judge yourself. Don't condemn yourself. Get up, go and sin no more. That's all he said. Get up, go sin no more. Now, did Jesus know that she was going to go do it again? Probably. Did she do that? Probably. But he knew that he needed to give her the benefit of the doubt, increase her morale by saying, you are a good person. You are a good person. You do bad things, but you are good because you were made in my image. Because Jesus himself was a human, but he was God who created, who left his heavenly throne to come down. And that's what I believe. You may call it a myth or whatever, that's your opinion, but my thoughts and my opinion and my relationship with God tells me. And that's what the freedom is, that don't judge. Even Jesus did not want to judge the lady because he understood the human flesh. But today, we think we are better than Jesus. We think we are holier than thou, that we go and judge people and put them into shreds because they don't think like us or they have done something that is unforgivable. And we write them off if they have done crime against us or whatever it is. And I'm not saying that, hey, you have to make that personal call and say, what did I do or what did they do that they deserve a death penalty or whatever it is. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. But for me, I want to try and be more like Jesus, be more like giving that opportunity for the person to change, to be somebody that they are supposed to truly be, is that we are supposed to be a good human being, good person, to do good in the world. Today we are fighting each and other is because we are constantly judging one another. And because of the judgment call we make, we have less of an harmony. And with that less of an harmony creates chaos. And when chaos is created, then we have no peace. And to find that peace and to live a cluttered, free life, we need to seek not to judge other people. Look at ourselves every day and measure ourselves with God's purpose, Creator's purpose, that why He created me, and I have these so many faults in my life, how can I change? Let's change within ourselves and help other people change by not judging but lifting up. Find good qualities in them so that they can grow. And the more they grow in good things, the less they will be likely to do things that are going to harm each other. If you have any insight on this video and your thoughts are expressed in certain way that you feel like you want to challenge my thought, or you agree with me, whatever it is, or if you feel this has benefit you, please like, subscribe, and share. And I thank you in advance for that. We need to grow as a community to do good and to help each other, build one another, so we can be all that God created us to be. A creator in us and out there who has been watching over us. Let that creator be our judge. And when we are judged by him, we have grace, mercy, and assurance that we are beautiful people. And the beauty we see in one another is going to make us a better generation. Have a fantastic day wherever you are, and make sure that before you judge a book by its cover, at least give it a look and see, is it worth the read? And if it's not, you can put it down. And if that person you feel is not right, maybe you need to walk away and hope and give them your blessing that they will be all they are supposed to be. Because sometimes we don't connect, that's fine. But our job is to help one another grow. And by this, I will say, have a wonderful day.